Basi tuko katika makala ya sebuleni na leo tuko na The Prince mwenyewe ndani ya sebule letu. Tuweze kuangazia tu hadithi yake kidogo na pia vitabu mbalimbali ambavyo ameandika vya kuhimiza watu katika njia ya Ukristo na pia kuwapatia tu motivation kidogo. Karibu sana kwenye studio.
Asante.
Usijali, tunaweza tumia lugha yoyote ili kwamba tuweze kuelewana. Pengine tu tungeanza na kuongelea pengine safari yako kutokea mwanzo hadi sasa hivi mahali umefika, na pengine uanze tu kwa kujitanguliza na kujiintroduce kidogo.
Okay, I think I will prefer using English.
Okay, it's fine.
My name is Prince, and I'm a published author and a professional writer.
Okay.
I have served in the Kenya Defense Forces as an intelligence officer for quite some time, close to 8 years. I left the army in 2015 December to pursue writing.
Okay.
And up to this point, I've done 3 books. The first one is called The Broken Snare.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is a continuation of the first book. It's called A Journey of Hope in Uncertain Times. Those 2 are already published and in the bookstores. The third one is called Tales of the Warfront. Now, this third book gives a soldier's experience in the war front, particularly in pursuit of the Al-Shabaab.
Okay.
Yeah, so the third one, all my books have been through my experiences.
Okay.
The third one, basically, I have given my experience as a KDF officer, and more so a KDF intelligence officer. Yeah, so the first 2 books, which what we are discussing here, major on my life and the struggles that I've had to go through up to this point.
Okay, maybe we could just talk about that transition from a man in the forces to a writer. What made you have that transition and that change from a man from in the defense forces to a man who's now in the writing business?
Now, in the first place, I got into the military not by choice. One, it was the only option that was available. I set for my KCSE examinations in 2007, and those that did their exams that time know that we got 2 result slips. My first result slip, I had made the cut to the university, and then after like a few hours, towards the end of the day, we get the second results. So in the second results, I have missed the university cut by 2 points. So at this point, I decided to, because the only logical thing I could do was to repeat Form 4. And I decided to repeat Form 4.
Yeah, maybe if I can just take you back, what caused there to be two results, different results? What was happening?
I don't know. I think this is one of the examination results that NEC and the then Minister of Education decided to mess. And I cannot be able to explain that. But basically, we got 2 examination results. The first results were quite different from the second results, and NEC decided that the second results were the valid ones. So up to date, I still have the 2 examination results. So I decided to repeat Form 4, and I went to Makweni Boys.
Okay.
And I studied that first term. We went to the second term. Now, in the second term, there was a Champions League a final game between Manchester United and Chelsea.
Chelsea, yeah.
I'm a staunch Manchester United fan.
Okay.
So the school administration decided that we can't watch that game because it will interfere with our school program the following day.
Okay.
And we went on strike, and I was expelled.
Oh.
So when I was expelled, this was my second chance. This was the only chance that I had to get myself to the university because I come from a very poor background. So when I was expelled, I went home, and now we started hustling which way possible.
Okay.
And then at this point, the army recruitment came. And I said, why not? I went and tried, and I was successful. I think I was one of the youngest officers to be enlisted in the armed forces at that time, because I was enlisted at the age of 18.
Hey.
Yeah. So I went to Eldoret, did my training, passed out in March 2009, and I was posted to Nanyuki. That is where I began life as a military officer, before later coming to Nairobi. I went to Nanyuki. I worked in Nanyuki for almost a year. And then during this time is when I applied to join the intelligence fraternity, because I had always been fascinated by intelligence movies and how those guys did their stuff with precision.
Okay.
So I applied to join the military intelligence corps, and I was successful. I was recruited into the same. So I joined the intelligence field in 2011, all the way up to 2015.
Yeah.
Now, I was one of the best guys in my class, and they saw me being posted to defense headquarters. There's an intelligence operations command there.
Okay.
So at this point, where I was posted to, there happened to be some personal differences between me and one of the senior officers there.
Okay.
And the personal differences escalated to a point that this guy is my boss, is my senior, so he has all the powers to frustrate me however much he wants.
Okay.
And then it came to a point I decided I can still pursue other things away from the military, and I left in 2015.
Hey.
Yeah.
So you mean if it were not for the frustrations, we would still be having one of the best intelligence officers?
But then I don't blame anything in my life. I think everything happens for a reason. Because if that could not have happened at that particular time, I would never have been manifested as a writer today. So, and I'm quite comfortable in what I am currently doing than then, because now this gives me I have control over my time.
Now, how did you adapt from coming from the life of an intelligence officer to a writer? Because those are two different lives. How did you adapt?
You see, we live in a capitalistic society where it's survival for the fittest. So adapting is not a choice. Mm-hmm. I have gone through deep things beyond that. You will not leave the military today and they let you go just like that. Mm-hmm. I spent 2 years in prison.
Wait, why would that happen?
It all revolves around me living, but for the sake of for the sake of my freedom, I will not. Let's not go so much to that route.
Of course,
but I don't want after today those guys now to start following me up again.
Yeah.
I left that life, the military life, and I don't want to go back to that again. Yeah.
So maybe we can talk about the broken snare now that we've already established the background of you as a person and where you're coming from, so that we can just see how much of it we'll see it in the broken snare.
Actually, we have already started discussing
the broken snare.
Yeah, this is the story in the broken snare, and now after you know, when I was in the military, there's one thing that happens. Intelligence gives you a lot of power, and once this power gets into someone's head, it can easily take you away from God.
Okay.
When I was joining the military, or even by the time I was even crossing to intelligence, I was a staunch Christian. And when I say staunch Christian, somebody who subscribes to the principles of Christendom. Now, getting into the intelligence field, and then at that time now, I have come from Nanyuki. People consider Nanyuki like Mashambani. Now you've come to the city. And it was my first time working in the city. So there is that hard to fit into a certain class and lifestyle. This is the point where I was introduced into the world of clubbing and all that.
And partying and raving.
Yeah. So tumepiga sherehe Nairobi.
Unasema sherehe Nairobi umepiga kupiga.
Yeah, tumepiga sherehe Nairobi. And then during this time I was still a church guy, and I did not want to break my trust with my pastor at that time. So what I used to do was party on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Rest on Saturday.
Go to church on
Sunday. So after church, now I can party. Because ideally, anybody who is from partying yesterday, they will always have those fumes. So that is why I used to avoid Saturday. And then again, I continued doing this for quite some time, until one day, now my current pastor came to our church. Back then, we were not in the same church. And then after preaching, she says that she makes an article, describes a young man who was walking rightly in God, but over the recent past, they have started going astray, and calls that young man for repentance. Now, I am seated at the back, and you have won the trust of everyone to that point that you can't. I felt I couldn't ashame myself. Walking from accepting everything that has been said
about you.
Walking to the front. Now that would have was not something that would cross my mind. So mimi nikajipiga kifua kimwanaume akajikaza huko nyuma. So when I left the military, and now the court case is going on, and we come to a point, the court process always ends with a judgment.
The judgment, yeah.
Now, on the judgment day, I'm in the court, within the court precinct. So there's a holding cell. I'm waiting to be called in so that I'm waiting so that the judgment can be delivered.
Okay.
Now, in the holding cell, that article that my current pastor Ed made 5 years ago about a young man that had started going astray from God replayed fresh in my mind. And at this point, I knew I was in whatever I was in because of the choices I had made in life. So before I was called into the court, I remember I just said a short prayer. At that time, I was not I wouldn't say I was a born again Christian at that time. So I said a short prayer and said to God that whatever outcome, give me the grace to take whatever comes my way. And that is what happened. So that was around May 2017. So from that point, now for the next 2 years, I went through things that you can't wish on your worst enemy. Prison life is not a joke. And you see, coming from a point that you are an elite officer in the defense forces, and now going into the dungeon, it's not an easy thing. It's something that can break even the strongest man. So, and my case was somehow funny because ordinarily appeals take 6 months, at most 1 year. So within a period of 6 months to 1 year, your appeal process has been expedited and you know the outcome. Now, in my case, we appealed immediately, and then waited for the court process, for the High Court process to start. Okay. And then the process takes more than 1.5 years. The courts are silent during this time.
They're not saying anything.
Yeah.
No feedback.
No
nothing.
Feedback. So I'm there just asking. I moved from the point of that point of even the trust in God, that juu hata mlevi hapo nje anajuanga kuna Mungu, and started believing science. And at this point, I remember there are some 2 pastors that came to actually see me personally.
Okay.
So when they came, they were telling me that you will be out of here in a few months' time. So ushajipata ile situation, mtu anakuambia kitu, unajaribu kufikiria huyu mtu amevuta banki gani
ama ni nini namsumbua.
Yeah. Because these people are telling me you'll be out of this place in the next few months. And it has taken 1.5 years
for your appeal to be expedited.
Not even the expedition process has not started. For even the first appearance in court to take place, I've not even been called to the court. I don't even know whether my appeal papers were received in the High Court
or not.
Because there's a disconnect when one gets into prison. Even if one has their relatives or a lawyer following up on their case, there's always a disconnect in communication with the people outside. Yeah. So they are telling me that you will be out of this place in the next. So I start imagining, are these people encouraging me to escape?
Or is this a prank or something?
Yeah. So we go on, and then 2 months later, I'm called up for the first appearance in court. At this time, I go to court, and the judge can't even explain why. My first question was, why has it taken 1 year, 8 months for us to get to this point in the first place? So apparently my appeal had been marked that I had appealed out of time. So when you appeal out of time, there's a process that you need to follow so that your appeal can be accepted. But now, on my end, that's why I said there's always a disconnect when one is in prison. So on my end, I know that I appealed in time. So nikaambia judge, chukua kalenda, nende tuhesabu hizi masiku because it's 14 days. So my appeal papers were stamped that they had been received on the 13th day. So I'm there asking her
how late is
this, because constitutionally I have 14 days to appeal. Yeah. So then you can't force a judge to apologize.
Yeah.
The only thing that they tell you is that they will fast track your appeal process. And then that's what happened. So they fast tracked the appeal process, and the judgment was coming up in 4 months' time. Now, when this judgment was coming, on the day of this judgment, in an appeal, there are several scenarios. The first scenario is a judge dismissing your appeal and saying, ruling that the sentence that was meted out on you is okay. You pursue that. You continue serving that. The second scenario is the judge dismissing your appeal and enhancing this sentence to a bigger sentence. And then the third and the most favorable is now acquittal. So we got into the courtroom on the appeal day, and this time round the courtroom is packed with my family members, and everybody knows the repercussions of whatever judgment that comes from here. So nobody wanted to be told that it was this or that. Everybody wanted to be present.
To find out for themselves.
Yeah. So the judge, for the first 45 minutes, she reads out a judgment, giving reasons why this sentence is okay, and why I was rightly in prison. And then, at that time, there are so many things that are going on in my mind.
Because in fact, you've already given up.
Yeah. So after almost 45 minutes is when she says, however, I did not want to listen to anything else, because I know from the little English that I know, however negates everything that she had said before that. And that's how I gained my freedom.
So I'm asking, are all this in your books?
Yeah. This whole story is captured in The Broken Snare and A Journey of Hope in Uncertain Times. These first two books I've concentrated on this a lot.
Do they say why you were imprisoned? Because I know people are eager to know that, but you cannot really say that on air.
Now, I can say that here and on air, but if you read the two books, you will get to know the reason.
Oh, you might have insinuated.
Yeah. So
well, maybe getting now to the third book, as we get into the gist of this now.
The third book is
that is not published yet. Yeah.
It's already published. It's not.
It's not yet
launched.
Oh, launched. Oh.
Yeah, we're launching that on 1st October.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll be launching that book at the Nairobi Cinema Hall, and people can follow my Facebook page, The Prince. there will be periodic updates on that.
On the
I
same-
think,
the prints.
yeah.
I've seen you have a huge following. Does it convert to the number of sales that you have?
Yeah, you see, one thing, writing is not in writing. There are so many people out there who have written books, and the first step after writing books is gaining credibility.
And writing.
Yeah, and having to convince your followers that they can put their money in your content. So yeah, the followers that I have,
They translate
they
into
translate
sales.
into sales. Yeah.
Very nice. Maybe just a synopsis of this third book. As you tell us after that, maybe you can just tell us what we should expect from you after the launch of that book.
Tales of the Warfront gives a soldier's experience in the warfront, particularly in the pursuit of the Al-Shabaab. You realize in the Kenyan, the military worldwide is extremely conservative, and most of what we know out here concerning the pursuit, since the war against the Al-Shabaab, is what the journalists have reported, the media has reported, and part of it is not correct. Actually, the big percentage is not correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
What happens?
Because you see, there is no media coverage in the warfront.
In the warfront.
So when whatever the media reports in most cases is hearsay, I can say that, or what they get from a third party. Take for example, during the Westgate Mall attack, where was the media positioned?
They were very far away from
Almost
the
100 meters from the scene. But what were they doing? They were reporting almost accurately like what is happening inside the mall. But was that information correct?
Only one way to find out.
Yeah. You can find that out. You can find out that in this book, and so many other things.
So it's an accurate capture of the real events on the warfront.
Yeah,
and in pursuit of the Al-Shabaab.
Although this book also, you can't. I can't capture everything because I was all over.
You were not everywhere.
Yeah. I have only captured the events that I was
in your experience on the warfront.
Yeah, the events that I have been involved, and some of them that I have heard that the media did not accurately report on. Yeah.
Wow. Is there some fiction in it?
In this book?
A little bit of fiction?
No. When you
action?
It's a good read, but there's no fiction in the Tales of the Warfront.
Wow.
Yeah. Whatever we've
we're experiencing.
Whatever I have written in that book is what we experienced, and also it's the accurate position on information on some of the happenings in this country during the war against the Al-Shabaab. And the motivation to write this book has been to make the public appreciate some of the sacrifices that these guys go through. Yeah, because there is this argument out here that people go in there for the salary, but if it is just for the salary, people would be actively looking for employment out here, and for other greener pastures. But these people go through a lot. There is you go through this book, you will learn that being a military officer is not a walk in the park. Yeah.
So while you were writing, what exactly did you want readers to get from this text? What is the exact message that you wanted to send to them?
About the Tales of the Warfront.
Yeah, and all your books, just in general.
In general, I don't think I've gotten your question right.
I'm asking. There's the motivation for you to write.
Yeah.
But what exact message did you want your readers to deduce from your texts?
Oh, my first two books. I have written these two books to encourage anyone out there who is going through whatever storms in life they are going through, that they can still decide to look at the brighter side of life, and life will still, if they put their trust in God. I am a firm believer in God. And I would say that I'm where I am because I've been able to overcome most of the challenges that I have faced because of giving my life to Christ. So these first two books, that is the message that I'm putting out there. And then also, for these first two books also, the character of a man. Your character is not what you do when people are seeing you. Rather, when people are not seeing you. Because, for example, when you read these first two books, I was going through a lot of things after prison, the stigma and all that, before I found my footing in writing. And during this time, somebody approached me. She's actually a pastor's wife, and offered me 600,000 to kill her husband.
Hey.
Yeah. So at that time, you don't even have rent. You don't even have food. There were no these followers that you see on Facebook that are now buying my books. There's nothing.
But here's someone offering you 600,000.
Offering you 600,000 cash
in a job that you're good at.
And this person knows that you are able to do this professionally without leaving a trade. So what do?
You take the 600,000.
No, that is dirty money. That is dirty money.
How did you avoid this temptation?
The pastor in question was my friend.
Oh.
I had his number. I called him and told him that your wife wants you dead, and I sent him all the evidence that I had, and left them to sort out their problems.
Their marital problems.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
These things, when you read these stories, you just think maybe they're just happening in movies or
no, these things are real. And at this point I had a chance. One, I could have taken the money and failed to do the job, as you said, which I have benefited myself materially, but that is dirty money. It's not clean.
Maybe you should just hire another person to take you out.
And then I have really wanted to. I said when I left prison, I said that I want to live a life where, when I'm walking along the streets, I'm 100% sure that there's nobody following my back, because I have not offended anyone.
You want a life without a target on your back.
Yeah. And I had also said that I'll never use the military knowledge that I have to commit any crime, because during all this time, this is one of the incidences that happen, that present themselves. You get so many incidences that present themselves that if you really want to enrich yourself illegally, you can.
You can take them up easily.
Or it'll take money. It doesn't have to mean taking a life. There are so many other things that somebody will present you to do. Then will present you a deal that will give you good money. doesn't involve taking somebody's life, but it's still illegal. It's still not right.
Yeah.
So whether if you choose to take that money, it is dirty money at the end. Yeah. And it doesn't benefit you at all. Yeah.
So where can people find your books? And maybe you can just take this time to invite them at your launch.
Yeah.
Maybe you can start by telling us where they can find your books and how much it will cost them for the books, and invite them to the launch.
Okay, the first 2 books go for 800 shillings each. If anyone wants to get the books are available at Nyuria, Kenya. You can also follow me on my Facebook page. There is my WhatsApp number there. We will deliver the books to you wherever you are. And for the Tales of the Warfront book launch, this one, and by the way, we will run a reading competition on this one, where if anyone that interested and participates want to encourage the reading culture in our young generation. So we are running a reading competition here, where the winner will get a scholarship worth around 200,000
to
whatever college of their choice, a scholarship of 200,000.
Okay.
So the only requirement is buy the book, read it, and write as a critique. We will give the details on that in the coming 1 month after the election. So
all people have to do is just to follow you on Facebook, and follow the proceedings from there.
Yeah. We will give details as the days go by. You know, right now everybody has concentrated on
politics and
politics
and elections.
Yeah. So we want to let the electioneering wave subside. Then now we can concentrate on this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Thank you very much for making time to come here and talk about your book. We are looking forward to your 3rd book and the launch on 1st of October. Is that right?
Yeah.
1st of October. So you guys can make time on 1st of October at Nairobi Cinema, so that you can buy yourself a book, Tales of the Warfront, and you're getting that experience from could I say the horse's mouth? Or from the force's mouth?
Yeah.
Because you are in the force. I don't know if you've seen what I've done there.
Yeah.
From the force's mouth, because you're in the force.
From the horse's mouth.
Forces, forces, because you're in the force. You are in the forces, and we are getting your experience anyway.
Yeah.
I think I've failed to do what I was trying to do, but we are really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And I think we'll just follow you on Facebook so that we can follow the proceedings from there. And after you launch, maybe you can still come back here and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, I will surely do that, and it's been a pleasure being here.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is an honor.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You can go to Nuria store and buy yourself the first 2 books so that you can be ready for the reading competition. Remember, scholarship worth 200,000 up for grabs to anyone who will win the reading competition. All you have to do is buy the book, read from the beginning to the end, and then after that, give a special critic that maybe will catch the eye of the prince. From us, tunasema hayo. Tumemaliza makala ya sebuleni ya hapa kwenye vitabuni. Tutarudi na mengi zaidi kwenye ulingo wa siasa.
KUTV, in conjunction with Kenyatta University Funeral Home, is now offering death announcements immediately following our news bulletins at 7 p.m. At this sorrowful time, as you share in your grief, allow us to communicate your announcement of your loved one on KUTV in both Kiswahili and English. For more details, kindly inquire at the KU Funeral Home Service Desk or call 0736 928 380 or dial 020 359 9054.
Technology, science, innovation, ICT and research. These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Women, young and old, are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient, and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back to the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Tech Innovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the fourth industrial revolution, decoded in a language, all for one for all. Make a date with me, Samson Jura, every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
So last week we took you through halitosis and dental hygiene, and this week we're going to be talking about dental diseases and their treatment.
We have the dental cavities, we have the gum diseases, we have the oral lesions or oral cancers, then we have the trauma of the mouth or the injury of the mouth. There is an age where the parents need to check the baby, like 5 to 6 years, they need to be checking, let even the baby be shaking the teeth.